fundamentally has the potential to change everything. The way in which we conceive of it, the way in which we manage our product, the way in which customers manage the product. The technology and applications of storage hold promise for solving problems on the grid that we heretofore were unable to resolve. Whether those be renewable integration, whether those be more economical ancillary services, reliability, customer end issues, and quite frankly, while I suppose I can't copyright it, I think in a matter of 12 to 18 months, we will be back in this forum and we will be talking about how our customers are TiVoing our product. Finally, we discussed at the time the imminent impact of stimulus and what that would do to our industry, what the role of the federal government would be in our industry as we move forward. And I think it's fair to say that as we sit here today, we again are always surprised at the depth of reach that stimulus has created, both in terms of, in some cases, dramatically accelerating activity, and in other cases, unfortunately, in complicating and slowing it down. And many of you in the room have navigated those challenges over the last year and continue to do so. So as we look forward, our situation has again become more complex. Perhaps where we are today could best be summed up by a statement from David Moeller at Duke Energy, who said, and I quote him, "The assignment in this century is to keep delivering affordable and reliable electricity. But oh, by the way, make it more efficient and less carbon intensive." It's really a different assignment. It's a different kind of social interaction, and it fundamentally requires a different kind of business model, unquote. And so we arrive at today. The promise of new technology has created its own aura of self-actualization. The technology theoretically can accomplish a goal. It should be able to do this, whatever this is. So let's make this, whatever this is, policy, because after all, the technology should be able to do it. Whether it's advanced metering, enhanced transmission and distribution automation, carbon capture and sequestration, or any of the other technologies that have emerged and been visualized over the last 18 to 24 months, we fundamentally must ask ourselves the question, do we understand the consequences of our new capabilities and of the new policies that surround them? Do we really understand the consequences of the new equilibrium that we are striving to achieve in this market? Ladies and gentlemen, we look no further than the Gulf of Mexico and the tragedy that continues to unfold there to realize the implications of implementing beyond our means, to implement beyond our understanding of capability and the implications of what we're about. And so we have to be careful as we move forward to do so with eyes wide open, with an understanding absolutely of what the benefits are, a clarity of purpose around those benefits, but also an eye towards understanding what the risks and issues are that we must face head on as we continue our transition to the utility of the future. Over the next 2 days then, we will continue KEMA's 82-year history of bringing insight and answers to complex business and technical questions. Our panels will begin with the view from the top. What are the issues facing senior executives as they strive to maintain their businesses in the rush of divergent policy mandates? We will follow that closely by examining the new customer relationship and how that relationship will play out in our equilibrium that we seek. What is the customer demanding? How can we move to better understanding the customer? And as some would say, how can we make sure that we begin to understand the customer as a consumer and not as a ratepayer, not as a customer? And indeed, in our session yesterday, we even went so far as to say, the customer as a partner. Because as we explore new technologies and new capabilities, the ability for customers to become virtual power plants in and of themselves becomes a significant play in our newfound equilibrium. At lunch today, we're fortunate enough to have Jim Rogers share with us his perspectives on the future, after which we'll transition our focus to questions around fuel diversity, generation diversity, regulatory perspectives, and other aspects. Finally, we end the day today with a view from our European Executive Board, who will provide us a moment of insight into what Europe is doing, and we'll follow by dinner comments by Jerry Taylor, Senior Fellow at the Cato Institute. So as you can see, even looking at the program and the list of speakers, we strive to bring you diverse perspectives on emerging issues that are relevant to our industry. While we in the room, and in fact while KEMA, may not necessarily always agree with the points of view of our respective panelists and participants, we nevertheless owe it to ourselves and the industry to make sure that this debate unfolds in a logical, sequential way, and that we address the concerns that everyone brings to the table. We cannot advance in the absence of an open and honest dialogue, one where we can explore both common ground and understand our differences, find ways to mediate them. Of course, our forum will only be successful under one key condition. And quite frankly, that is that we require your active participation. We believe that having you a part of framing the discussion, exploring the issues, challenging the speakers, challenging one another, is an essential part of success in the next 2 days. It is the strength of your collective wisdom that is the real basis for information and knowledge exchange, and I strongly encourage each and every one of you to engage fully in the dialogue as it unfolds today and tomorrow. In conclusion, I trust you will find the sessions to be informative, enlightening, and engaging. I'm delighted that you have chosen us and look forward to our interactions over the next 2 days. Now, what would an opening speech be if I didn't have the opportunity to tell you about all of the changes that we're going to encounter today? And they're not very large, but we are in Washington, and being in Washington, we recognize that our participants have the opportunity, at times indeed the mission, to engage on the Hill, and indeed that is